light farm wagon.
Why is this called the light farm wagon?
Well, you can see it's got the lightweight.
Could I get you to just,
Come around.
yeah,
I'm gonna get out of it.
Oh, you already started shooting?
yeah, let me.
You know all about harnesses.
Mm-hmm.
No, we don't.
Okay, today is July 19th, 1988. And this is Joe, Todd, and Bill Pitts with Mr. W.W. Walker at the Turnbull Wagon. Okay. I'm not even sure where to start.
Well, how about this deal? That is called a neck yoke. My boys used to say, I'd have to knock them down with a neck yoke to get their attention. Of course, that's exaggerated. This is a neck yoke. And this is the 14 loop here on the end of this is the tongue. This is the loop where you hook your leader's double trees. And we can move back here. This is your single tree, double tree.
Now, what are they used for? What's the purpose of the single tree and double tree?
Well, this is what the horse is pulled by, and this is your evener. Now, if you got a strong horse on one side and a weak one on the other, there's a stace chain. See this little ring here? You don't have any on this wagon.
Mm-hmm.
There's a stace chain hooks from this and back to this hook here to make your strong horse pull more than the weak horse. See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
However, you don't have any on there. Well, this is your dashboard. Your spring seat, in-gate rods.
Now, what's the purpose of the in-gate rods? What do they do?
To keep your, if you're loaded with something like cotton or corn, you've got it trumped down tight. These keeps your bed from spreading. It's a long rod, runs through and fastens on the other side, both beds. See, this is your original bed here on the bottom. It's about a 12, 13 inch, and it should have the same size above. And that's your flooring to your bed. And
Now, did all the wagons have the spring seat?
oh yes, they all come out with spring seats. Some of them varied in size. This is the fork in the tongue. These three pieces here. That's usually made out of hardwood, oak, or hickory. That's the fork, and this deal that runs around here under the coupling post. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Is the yoke. You got that about the yoke, didn't you?
Would you go over that again?
This that goes around here under the coupling pole is the yoke. And you'll see there's a big pin right there on between the axle and the bolster that holds, that pulls the weight of the rear end. And that's where your wagon turns, your front wheel turns. But this contraption here, the fork and the yoke, keeps your wheels, when you make a turn, keeps them from flopping around. And this is called a bolster. And this is a bolster post here with the rings on it. That keeps your bed from going either way. It holds it in place. And of course, this is your brackets here for your wagon bows. See, it's got two for each bow.
Now, what type of wood are the bows made of?
Pardon?
What type of wood are used for the bows? Is used for the bows?
Well, they use different kinds. They're made out of, some of them made out of ash. It's a hard wood. And you can usually determine what part of the country the wagon's been used in by looking at the rims.
How?
Well, you see the round effect of this rim?
Yes, sir.
The corners is all wore off. I would say that this wagon was used probably down in Arkansas or eastern Oklahoma, where they have quite a lot of flint rocks. That wears the rim off round. You see, when this wagon's new, it come out with a straight edge on the rim. And this is your fellers here. See these divisions they got in here? Boy, oh boy, that's a long one, huh? They're usually about this length. Can you see that? That's called a feller. And they're also made out of hardwood, usually bodark. And this is your hub. Your hub rings on both sides. And this is your axle. And this is your wheel nut. But inside they have an iron thimble. They call it a thimble. It fits over the wood part of your axle. It gives you the wearing capacity for your wagon. And that's what you grease. You keep axle grease on there all the time. See it?
How do you grease the axle?
Well, you see this pin here in the double tree?
Mm-hmm.
You take that out and unscrew this nut here on the axle. Take it off. Then you just take a hold of this tire, jerk it back to where you can see that thimble, and have your paddle and axle grease up here. And but don't jerk it too hard, you might get it down on you. If you're going to jerk it hard, you better put a sawhorse nut to it. And this here is your footstep, climb into your wagon. This is your brake. Your brake shoe, which that one don't have.
Well, the brake shoe is made of what?
Wood.
Wood?
Some kind of hard patch them. They'd take and cut a short piece of old inner tube off and nail it into that wood, and it'd make them last a lot longer, you know. Pulling again that rubber, you could lock the hind wheels. Or if a team tried to run away, they'd throw the brake on and lock these hind wheels.
Now, how is the brake operated?
Oh, well, I'll show you when we get around
Okay,
on the other side
sure.
there. Let's see, we have to go to the other side for that. And this is a turning guard here. It keeps your wheel from cutting into your bed. And it's the same thing over again as I told you about the front wheels. Can we go around there? I'll show you how. Well, I can
walk around behind it.
Oh, okay.
Need some help moving things?
Well, let's see how far this comes.
I'll keep it.
Okay.
This wagon was
Thank you.
in bad condition when it was retired. See how those hubs are?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And most models, I don't know if you can see here or not, but most models had a box on here. They call it a feed box. They usually carried oats and sometimes horseshoe nails and hammers, so just in case it had to reset a shoe on the trail. Well, the brake system is over here on the right side. Boy, that one was a homemade one and they misfitted. What do you know? This one don't have one. Somebody's tore off the brake.
Okay, is that it? I think it's inside the wagon bed. I see something laying inside the wagon down there. I think that may be it.
Oh, well, possibly. Yeah, that's it. They just didn't put it on. But anyway, here's where it goes on. And it runs back to and couples onto this. And when you throw it forward, it pulls these tight against your wheel. See, he missed the wheel that much. Whoever made that in there. Short part of it, so that's the brake system. Very, very important part of a wagon's brake system, because you do use it going down hills, and also for a skiddy team that you want to load up right quick. You know, put a pull on the team.
Now, what about the spokes? Why is the wheel looks like it's bowed? It has a bow to it.
Oh, that's the way they're all made. The wheelwright sets them that way.
And what's the reason for that?
It keeps them from wobbling so bad when you get a worn spindle.
And what type of wood is the wagon bed made of?
Well, I think when they come out from the factory, they're a hardwood, but usually farmers wears them out and replace them with pine and repaints them. Pine tongue and groove floor in the bed.
How do you keep the rims tight on the wheel?
Well, that's a big job. They dry out in hot weather and they shrink. The wood gets so dry that the rim will get loose. Well, you make little wedges sometimes, little wood wedges, and take a hammer and drive the wedges under. It tightens up the rim where it won't jump off. You either do that or you soak it in a creek or a pond and change it a time or two so this wood will swell and tighten your rim. That's original old wagon seat.
I guess that's
Probably
just
a few years old.
just ordinary canvas, or
Yeah.
that's just. Now, what is the price of a new wagon? What do they cost?
Well, I think when I was a boy, they run about $165.
And what was standard equipment when you bought a wagon?
Oh, you didn't get no bows, no wagon sheet. You just got the wagon as it is here, plus your double trees and single trees. That's part of your wagon, and your neck yoke is also part of your wagon. but the bows and the sheet don't come with it. My dad owned two of these boogers. One was a Nair tread like this, called a Nair tread. It was a Springfield Nair tread. It's a little heavier duty wagon than this one. And then the other was a Studebaker, and it had about a 3-inch rim instead of this system, 1.5-inch rim. That's an air tread. You see, in the muddy country, this kind is bad. The wheels go down in the soft earth too easily. And then they put out a 3-inch rim, which kept them from sinking so bad.
Is there a standard width of the axle on the wagons?
Yes, there is. Can't recall this sort of good right now. But my dad used to take and cut a red oak and a hickory log, take it to the mill and get it sawed like he wanted. And he rebuilt quite a few of these wagons. He'd use that hardwood.
Made, what year was this wagon made, you think?
I'd say about 1900, 1905, somewhere around there. This, from the looks of it and the way it's made. See, some of them has got this here yoke here is kind of square. It comes out square. And it still acts the same, only it's square. That's what's known as the coupling pole. That's what holds your front axle and back axle together. Of course, with the bed on it, that has trouble. And the way they used to do it is crossing the river. They know they're going to cross the river. They take a big tarp like this, lift the bed up, and put a tarp over it, and then set the bed back. And when they got down to the river, they'd throw the tarp up over the bed, and this bed would act as a boat, you know, it keep the pressure off the wheels. The horses didn't have to pull it and keep your merchandise dry.
So you would just float the wagon across the river?
Right. Yeah, it made it easier to pull for the horses. Well, I believe that about covers the wagon part.
Would you?
Well made.
Yeah, would you go over the harness?
Would you like to have it?
Yeah, please.
Horse too?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's do the horse first.
Okay, let's.
I can hold this if you like.
Oh, yeah, please. Yeah. Thank you. We'll put you to work.
Well, we'll start here with the oh boy. It's these lips and mouth. This is nostrils. This whole bit here down is his muzzle. And this is his bars. From here to here is his bars. This is face, eyes, jaws, ears, hole, neck, shoulder, forearm, knee, cannon bone, leaders, pastern, foot. That's the wall of his foot. Of course, if I could lift it up, I could show you the other part, which is a sole and rim and a frog. if I had the horse. This is girth. Weathers. Of course, I didn't say crest here. This is here to here. Crest. Weathers. Back. Loins. Belly. Flank. Croup. Buttocks. Stifle joint. And same as the front leg. Hocks. Chestnuts. See that? Can you get that?
Yes, sir.
Chestnuts. Tail. Sheath. Knock. That's about it on the horse. I think I left out anything.
Then how about the harness?
The harness. This is regular work harness like what farmers used. Here's your bit. This is your face piece. This is the blinds. That's the crown piece. This is the throat latch. This is a rein. And this strap here is your check line. That's what goes back to your lines that you drive with. This is your neck yoke strap. This is also a pole strap. See, it connects all here to your coupling pole, pole strap. And this is your belly band, tug, back band, flank straps, tug holders. I got a head. Here's the hames and collar. I didn't talk the thickness of it. This is your hame, steel hame, and this is a leather collar. This is called your breeching. And of course this is your tug chain that you can hook them up depending on the length of the body of your horse. That's how you hook them here. So you've still got some pressure on the neck yoke up there. See, that holds up the tongue. And if you're working a long-bodied horse or a short-bodied horse, you can lengthen it out, even them up to where both pulling the same weight.
If you have a stronger horse, which side do you put him on normally? Or does it matter?
Well, it really doesn't matter as long as you got that face chain back there.
Any type of leather best to make the harness?
Yes, sir. They have a special tin leather for harnesses. It's just called black harness leather. It goes to a special tannage. It can still be bought. It's bark tan. Well, you mean what kind you usually work to this?
Yeah, what horse did you prefer to work with?
Oh, I prefer mules. To me, they're tougher than horses. And stand more punishing than horses. And I don't mind seeing a mule put out like I do a horse.
Now, is the harness basically the same in the horses and
Oh,
mules?
yes. Same thing. You have to adjust them. See, they're all fixed with them Conway loops where they can be adjusted to fit the horse. This does not fit, I'll tell you that. This strap needs taken up. Listen up a little, but that not a whole lot, because the breeching should be up about there. And, let's see. That's all right. Collar's too little for this horse. I can see that. Ordinarily, this collar would fit clear down here. See, here's what the horse pulls with, the shoulders, neck. So that collar's about 4 sizes too little for that horse.
Now, what is a collar made of?
It's a lightweight chrome leather that is real tough.
Now, is it padded?
Oh yes, it's either padded with hair or straw.
Now, how long would a collar last?
Well, for taking care of and saddle soaked and washed, I'd say 60 years. Good leather collar if it's made properly to start with. And then if the man who uses it uses some old yeller pads, a soft pad that goes under the collar here. You see, you unbuckle it up there, and this pad fits. It's got some little snaps that snaps on this rim. And when you go to collar your horse, you just flip that pad over, buckle your collar, and then you snap these snaps. That keeps your horse from getting sore shoulders. And they usually use them to make them fit up better. They'll get a size big for the horse and then put the pad under, see, so they'll have a good fit. If a horse collar don't fit, he's not going to pull much because he's hurting. So that's the main thing, get the collar to fit.
What are the different type of bits?
This is just a regular old snaffle bit. That's just the most popular on all harness. However, they had some runaway bits with long shanks down here on them, like you used to see on them fire wagons and when they worked horses to fire wagons. Incidentally, I saw a horse fire wagon when I was about 4 years old. I'd slip out and peek through the slats of the fence and watch them come out of the gate, and that's the biggest thrill I ever saw. It's watching the fire horses come out.
Where was
In Denver, Colorado.
Denver.
Oh man, they turn that bell on and all the action goes. Hey,
Now, what are the different types of wagons? How many different types of farm wagons?
well, this is about the oldest model style right here, and then they come out with a 3-inch wheel. It was a later model.
Now, what type did you say this is? What type of wagon?
Well, there's no name on it. It's made similar to the Springfield. However, there's been some stuff taken away and some added.
Now, this
That's
is
not the original box that come on it, but it's made pretty well like the original box. I mean, bed.
But this is just a common farm wagon.
Yes.
I've heard people talk about the wheat bed on a wagon.
Wheat bed. Well, that's when you go up to 3 sideboards high. See, this has got only 2 sideboards. You just go up another sideboard high.
Now, what is the overjet?
Well, the overjet, whoever makes them, they come out here a foot, and then they have braces here that holds them up, and you fit your See, it comes up another 12 inches up this way. And you set your bows out here on that, it makes you have a lot more room inside your wagon. You can put a bed, sleeping bed, crossways back there in the back. Excuse me.
Oh, that's,
That's a difference. Gives you more room in your wagon. You can sit on it. Sometimes when it's raining, maybe your woman will have to fix sandwiches or something in there. She got a place to sit and have her groceries and so forth in there. I traveled by wagon from Bristol, Oklahoma to Bearville, Arkansas on the wagon with overjets. And from there to McAllister in overjets. And that's where they were.
I see a bar running from the yoke down to the axle.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that bar?
Well, that's just an enforcement rod that this here deal here comes off of, this hook for your stace chain. It also helps turn your wheel when you pull your horses around left or right. G or haw. Savvy G and haw?
Explain it. G and haw.
All the old farmers, when they cultivate, you know, they got both hands on their cultivator handle, and their lines is around their neck. So they don't want to turn loose the very hand, because if they do, it's going to bubble over and plow up something. So they got their horses trained. If they want them to pull over to right a little, holler, G. Back to the left, ha. Maybe they'll just hit the line right quick to kind of wake them up. You know? But they can't turn loose that cultivator unless it stops, because you'll do yourself some damage.
And the tongue goes from the yoke
Mm-hmm.
up to the
Neck yoke.
neck yoke.
Mm-hmm. My boys at Mom and I's anniversary got up, our 50th anniversary. Said they had to mind Dad because he always had a neck yoke or a single tree around to knock him down. But they just had a little fun.
Do you have any questions?
Not that I can think of right now. Did his family travel in a wagon? Is what I was thinking. Is it grandma? Granny, wasn't her mother lost crossing the Missouri on the wagon when she was a little girl?
I'd rather not get into that because I don't know much about it.
Just hearsay. How is this different from the Conestoga?
Oh, well, this is a much lighter wagon. So,
Was it a wider wheelbase or longer?
a little wider. This here's an inch and a half, I think, two. And the bed was higher and braced crossways like this, and it stuck out in front about this far, come down at an angle like that. And your front bow come way forward. You could step out here on a double tree and wouldn't get wet if it's raining. And same way in the rear.
Did you see the Conestoga wagons?
Oh, yeah. And the Centennial, they had a whole bunch of, you know, Oklahoma had one of them. It's down here at the fairgrounds now. I saw it here a year or two ago. However, they put a rubber rim so
Is-
horses could travel on the pavement.
Is there any type of suspension system for the bed? Like he had the spring seat, is there anything like that between the bed and the axles?
Suspension. This bolster is what holds your bed on there. See, it has one front and rear. They ought to put that brake back on there. Of course, how many people's gonna be in here? They won't ever.
Well, I can't think of anything else. What, did they paint the wagon beds normally?
Yes,
What color?
green,
Green?
usually red or yellow running gears. That's the wheels, the axles, and all the works underneath. They paint them red or yellow, and some of them pinstriped them. I think the spring, my daddy bought a brand new Springfield once, and I think the wheels was red with black pinstripe on it. Oh, it was pretty. I was a little boy. A pretty red wagon. I really liked that wagon. And my daddy liked it also.
Well, I can't think of anything else. I think he pretty well covered it. Would there be a certain time that you have the bows and the wagon sheet on and a certain time when you wouldn't have them on?
Well, the only thing you use them for if they wanted to keep the heat off or the rain out, or you was traveling long distance, then you'd want a wagon seat bows.
How long would a wagon sheet last?
Oh, it all depends on how it's taken care of. It's taken off, kept in the storage, and lasts a long time. All depends on how heavy weight duck it is. That's lightweight there. That's about 12.
What is the difference between the military wagon and this type of wagon?
Oh, not a great deal. The only thing, military wagon has a iron axle that bolts on to a wood piece here, but it's steel all the way across, and the hub is also iron. It's not a wood hub like this, and that's about all the difference. It's got the brake and everything just like this.
Who were the major manufacturers of the wagons?
You got me there.
Of course, I've heard of Studebaker.
Yeah, it's Studebaker wagon, but I don't know the manufacturer's name unless it was Studebaker. Evidently.
But besides Studebaker and Springfield, what other companies make wagons?
Well, I'm not too familiar with any other brands. I'm just familiar with those because Dad kept them two so long. And of course, I saw him repair old wagons and helped him, like dressing down a ton.
Now, what is
You
dressing?
take an old drawer knife and an adze. See, the sawmill didn't saw it exactly the way he wanted it. You know, it's supposed to taper out to the front, be bigger back here, taper to the front, round the edges off so a horse wouldn't hurt himself. But he used a plane, drawer knife, bracing bit. Some old farm tools, you know. He didn't have no power tool, no such thing as power tools.
What's the major item you had to repair on these wagons? What'd you have to repair most?
Oh, I'd say the coupling pole. Quite often you break it coupling pole out. Oh, and I'll tell you another thing I just thought of, this being a farm wagon. You know, this tongue's what they used to weigh cotton on. Now if them horses was off in there, I can show you how. But you take the tongue and prop it up in the air and stick that neck yoke under it and block both wheels with it. And you hang the cotton scales in that 4-horse hitch up there. And you weigh your cotton on it before you empty it up. That's another thing that tongue was important for. Otherwise, they'd had to stick them up 3 poles out in the field and weigh it, but they waited on it's going to empty it in the wagon anyway. So they just put it there.
Is there a certain bed certain sideboards they use for cotton?
Well, most of them used to just use these, only they go higher with
Like a
another,
wheat bed?
another set.
Like a wheat bed?
Yeah, that'd be a 36, it'd be 36 inches, and then they trompe it down.
Did you use a wheat bed for the cotton?
Well, now there's a, you mean what they hauled their threshed wheat with, or what they hauled their straw with? Now straw, they had a regular hay rack. It's a big rack, about 8 foot across by about 14 long, with just the front upright in the front and back, and the sides was vacant. So they could haul, they used to haul the bundles into the threshing machine, you know. And a good field pitcher can load that thing to where all the shocks will come off easy. He turns the grain to the inside, then he fills the inside, but he always keeps that 2 sides running even with oats or wheat or whatever they're hauling into the thresher. Them guys really gets good with that pitchfork.
Okay.
I know, I've done it.
Well, Mr. Walker, I think we have a good interview, I guess. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.